Hello everyone, TLSG here, back again with another daily Marvel Snap live stream. So today we are going to be playing a little bit more of the Zero Chance deck that was recommended by Pilk that we featured in today's video. So this is going to be a little bit less structured. It's going to be the live environment so that we can chat back and forth. But we are live. Thank you everyone for jumping in and joining early. So we have Q, we have Ice Knight, we have Andrew, Alexander, we have Pilk, Rando Calrissian, Kieran, and Dry. How's it going, guys? Thank you guys for being here and jumping in early. I hope that your day has started off well. But we are going to go ahead and jump in, see how many cubes we can get. Yesterday we were facing, after the patch, we faced a lot of bots, and to make yesterday's video, to find the 6 or 7 wins or matches versus humans, I gained about 70 cubes overall because of the bots in between and just the winning condition overall. And so I haven't played since then because I really don't want to like smash out infinite necessarily. That takes a little bit of the luster of the grind away, but we'll see how it goes. And then Kieran, I haven't made it to a live for a while. Can't wait. I'm so glad that you're here. As far as picking a live to be here in, we just came off of a huge patch that nerfed some of the more consistent or common decks quite a bit. And then we also have the featured location, the Nexus. So this one is a good one to be in. I'm glad that you're here. And then Rando Calrissian, yo, are we live? We are live. We are absolutely live. So I'm going to play Angela into the far right lane. If that turns into the Nexus, that's fine. We can drop something like a Cosmo and then a Doc Ock. On turn 6, we can do Zero and Red Skull for a really big power push in that far right lane. Yeah, the Nexus, it finally dropped. Yeah, the Nexus, it dropped, and I really enjoy it. There's several ways to build around it. It's not like you have to run one particular card, but it's incredibly fun. I'm having a lot of fun with it anyways. So I think we do... So our cards are going to move out of Strange Academy. I think we do a Cosmo. Next turn we'll do a Maximus. Turn 5 we can do a Doc Ock. Turn 6 we can do a Zero and a Red Skull. Looks like a pretty easy high power push game for us. So we should start off pretty strong, I think. Andrew Ollie, I haven't read the patch notes yet. Yikes. Yeah, so I did a video covering it. But the kind of the highlights or the cliff notes, Magic got nerfed. She can't be played on 6 anymore. Mr. Negative is now -1. I don't think he was ever like the main issue, but it is much harder to run him just overall now. I think are the two big ones, and then Ronan got kind of readjusted again, kind of unfortunately. Today I won't be able to queue into anyone here. APK is not here yet. And before too long, a couple more weeks, and we won't have to worry about that anymore, thankfully. Even though Mr. Negative got nerfed twice, it's still winning with negative deck. Yeah, you're still winning with negative deck. I bet his haters are still going to cry. Yeah, he's still strong. I don't think his power was necessarily what made him polarizing. I think in the particular negative serotonin deck, the biggest thing was the Sarah into the magic, allowing you to get more inverted cards, allowing you to just drop a whole lot of cards onto the board all at once, which felt really, really bad, and it was really hard to play against. So I think I want to do something kind of like this. Oh no, let's play Nightcrawler into X-Mansion. I think we're going to give up the flooded location. They do have Sunspot, so they're going to be able to let that buff up over time. I think we play the Maximus. Next turn we'll do Doc Ock. Both of those won't trigger their own reveal abilities. Turn 6 we can do something like a Zero and a Red Skull to push a high amount of power onto the board. Can this deck beat Iron Man on Iron Man / Onslaught on Nexus? So I think with this one, if you think they're running a combo deck, so you can sub in Enchantress into this deck list if you want. But for me, if I see that they're running like an ongoing combo and they're focusing on the Nexus, I may at that point drop Doc Ock into one of the other lanes to force them to draw into like all of their big power plays. That way I can focus on doing like Red Skull and whatever other combos I want into the Nexus. So it can win, but if you're seeing that a lot, you may just tech in Enchantress to be able to solve it pretty easily. So let's go with the Doc off. Let's go with the Doc Ock play into Nova Roma. They're not going to be able to do a Shang-Chi here because of Cosmo. And then I think our Red Skull, I don't think we'll have initiative going into the last turn, which should work in our advantage or in our favor. So they won't be able to Red Skull, or they won't be able to Shang-Chi our Red Skull either. Kieran, I love the Mr. Negative change because the balance is better, but also the flavor. Yeah, I think at least flavor-wise, him having just slightly negative power does make a lot of sense. Ooh, so they skipped. Do they have an Infinite? Ooh, if they have an Infinite, we might lose. Hold on. Let's move the Nightcrawler out. Let's go ahead and play 0 here, and then Red Skull here. That's going to be an 18 power play, 19, 20, 21, 22. Actually, do we tie with an Infinite? Because that puts us at 28. Oh, and it reduces their Lizard. I think we're fine. Even if it's an Infinite play, the Lizard will be 3 less. We're going to be 28. They'll be about 25. So I think if that is their play line because of the skip, I don't think we have anything to worry about here. They have initiative, so we're not going to be able to. They're not going to be able to Shang-Chi our cards. I think this one should be an easy takeaway. Ooh, they moved Nightcrawler over. Oh, and then the Infinite. I think we still win though, right? With the 3 power reduction from Lizard, we should beat them by 1. As long as my math wasn't terrible. No, we lose by 1. Oh, my math is terrible. The Scorpion, I guess, is what came in pretty clutch for them there. That is not the way you want to start a stream. Well, so it was close nonetheless. We almost beat that. We were almost able to beat the Infinite. I don't know what my calculations were doing. I don't know how you got 28. Poor math. Poor math. So we're gonna need to work on the maths. Usually my mental maths are good. That one was not so much. That one is definitely not so much. Is Maximus just in as a 0 target, or does he have other synergy here? So he's a decent last turn play. He's a plan C if you don't have a better target for 0, or a better target for your Taskmaster. Data analyst, you say? Well, I never said I was a good data analyst. I mean, I'm a data analyst. I may not necessarily be the best one. But no, Maximus has several uses here. He can be dropped behind the Cosmo, which allows us to drop the 7 power for a pretty decent power push, or as a plan C if we don't have Red Skull or Doc Ock in our hand. So we start out -8. We'll have to climb a little bit here. We're gonna skip turn 1. We'll play Angela first, and then we can fill that a little bit later. Astro's a little late today, but thanks for the lunch stream. Oh no, -8 did Q strike. No, we got we thought we could take on an Infinite, and we were proven very, very wrong. Very quickly, we proved that my math was not very strong right now. But you're not too late. You're only we're only about 8 minutes in, so you're actually right on time. Q is here, but hasn't shown his face yet. And then hey Akshay, hey Snug, thank you for guys for jumping in and joining us. So they have the Lockjaw. We have Nexus. I don't think we play Bishop into the Angela lane. I think we save it or kind of keep it open, a little bit open. I think we are going to play Bishop onto the board. I just don't think we necessarily push it into Nexus. I want to save some space just in case. The Infinite coming in clutch, basically. Yeah, with the Nightcrawler move over, 1, my math was bad, and then 2, the Nightcrawler gave them enough power to push over. And so yeah, it was a big play. It was a big play, tough loss, but it was one that we will work with. Miles is so lackluster though, right? Right now, I say it tentatively. He is lackluster, but I don't know. Thor felt a little bit lackluster when he first dropped, so I always say that kind of with a grain of salt. He may not be great right now, but he may come around in the end. So we're gonna do 0 and Red Skull because of Elysium. I almost wonder if we wait a turn, just to try to draw into our Cosmo. I think we'll wait it out. 0 Red Skull into Taskmaster. It should be an easy game. I'm worried about a Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi could wipe us out entirely in the Nexus. And if we stack them all there, it makes it pretty tough. Zach, good morning. How's the grind? With this deck list, the grind's going pretty well. Despite the negative 8 cube gain on stream or on screen, the grind overall is going very, very well. I hope that your morning has started well, and that I hope your infinite grind is going well as well if you are playing. Dry, I really like this deck. As soon as I pull 0 and Taskmaster, I'm going to try out. Yeah, it's almost like it's a pretty simple play line, kind of like a Zoo deck where you don't have to worry too much about like counterplays or where to play cards. You're able to assess pretty easily your power potential, so that you can push it out onto the board. And so Pilk, you are the one that climbed to infinite with this in like a day and a half. Would you stack your Taskmaster into the Nexus? Or would you split it just a little bit? And then Dad, really sucks that Miles is seeing no play. Yeah, I know. Hopefully, I have to hope that they come out with some kind of support card that makes him feel a little bit better. But right now, yeah, he does feel a bit lackluster. And Pilk may not be here. We may have to make our own decisions. We're going to send it. We're going to see what we can do. Hopefully they don't have a Shang-Chi. Split it. Oh, well. I already locked it in, Pilk. Oh, no. Well, okay. Hopefully it turns out fine. If they have a Shang-Chi, we definitely lose. We absolutely lose. But I think if they had a Shang-Chi, we would lose anyways, because that takes away like an 18 power push across the board that they now have. I think coming up over that power would be pretty difficult regardless. Oh no, they thumbs up. That either means they have it or they're about to retreat. So we're gonna lock this one in. I don't think Maximus or Elektra necessarily matters too much here. I'm gonna play Ant-Man into Elysium to get a little bit of a power push, and then we'll throw these over into Wakanda just as a way. Okay, so they did do the retreat later. They didn't have the Shang-Chi. If I wasn't worried about Shang-Chi, so if I had a Cosmo, I would have snapped to kind of press that advantage, but since we didn't have Cosmo, I always have to worry a little bit about a potential Shang-Chi play. This deck looks like 0 skull skill, indeed. Is that? I'm trying. I may be overlooking the read it like 0 skill. I may be overlooking the joke, and it may be because I'm... Ooh, we get Jeremiah. It may be because I'm a little bit tired, but that one went over my head, Alexander. If you break it down for me, I may be able to get it. But we do have Soul Knife coming in. So we'll see. This one should be a good one. If it was Q, I have a hint of an idea of what he's planning. But with Soul Knife, I don't necessarily. Iggy. Hey TLSG, dropping by to say your videos are really helpful. Keep them coming. Thank you so much. I'm glad that you were able to jump in, even if live content isn't necessarily your thing. I'm glad that you jumped in just to say hey. And I'm glad that you're enjoying the videos as well. No jokes, just skills. Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay. So the Dark Dimension isn't huge for us. We can hide things like Doc Ock or Taskmaster, Cosmo behind it. But Soul Knife does know a bit about what we're running, so the element of surprise is not in our favor. Oof, getting wrecked by TLSG on stream. Daniel, was that you in the last game? If so, it was a really good game. I was really afraid of the Shang-Chi play, which is why we didn't snap to try and push for some more cubes. I was afraid of a Shang-Chi just completely demolishing us in the Nexus. So I'm gonna go ahead and play Hide Elektra in Dark Dimension, and you'll win. I will try. I'll trust you, Pilk. I was thinking Cosmo into something like a Doc Ock, but I guess we have next turn to do that. We'll go with the Elektra play here. I should throw in Shang-Chi and Enchantress. with the Nexus, I think a couple of counter cards, if you have the space to be able to afford them, I think are going to be pretty beneficial. So I'm going to go with a Cosmo. We can do a Doc Ock. We won't be able to do Taskmaster into Dark Dimension as if we drop our Cosmo. So maybe we do a Bishop. Next turn we hide a Taskmaster, and then we hope for like a 0 to be able to drop on turn 6 or turn 7. I think I might like that just a little bit better. And we'll see if hiding the Electra will win us the game, like Pilk predicts. Von Ryan, do you think that there are still cards that need to get nerfed, or they need to focus on buffing cards that don't get much use? I think that's a tricky one. We are right out of the patch, and so a lot of people are now pivoting away from Mr. Negative. We're starting to see a lot more kind of creative deck building. So I think it'll take a little bit of time before we know for sure. And yeah, I do see a Hobgoblin coming in here. They can't play it here. If they play it here, that is unfortunate. Soul Knife knows everything. Should we just pull all of his cards and see what he has? We don't have a whole lot of information about what he's running, which is the problem. We can do an Angela and a Cosmo, but he turns first. He has initiative, which is where our issue lies. Oh my gosh, we didn't do anything. Oh no. We are choking. Angela plus Cosmo into the Limbo, so he couldn't send us a Hobgoblin. And then we have the Professor X. We are choking. But unless he has a way to buff up Professor X, we might be able to get it up to the point where it at least ties. Oh no. Oh no, we gotta play quickly now. This will cap out Necrotia. It leaves us a space to pull our Nightcrawler over. It pushes Bishop up to 5. Next turn, it'll be able to push it up to 6. No plays for the Daredevil. He can't get a read if we don't give him anything to read. Oh my gosh. How awful. Actually, oh no. That Necrotia play was really bad. You'll get 0 next draw. We might. There's the 0. Pilk the ever knowing. So 0 plus Skull on the final turn. So as long as he can't buff up his Professor X, we can do 0 plus Red Skull. That should beat a Destroyer. If he has, if this is a Destruction deck or a Destroyer deck, this may be a Bucky Barnes. At which point we would lose this one, right? I guess we could do. Should we move Nightcrawler over? Yeah, that's what I was thinking, Snug. If we move Nightcrawler over, we play 0 as our last card. We can then play Red Skull once. Oh wait, yeah, no, it'll erase our Electra's ability, and then Red Skull's ability will stay intact. Because the Dark Dimension will go off of play order. It will play 0, and then Electra will be the next card that flips. Her ability will get canceled, not Red Skull's. So I think we have to send it this way. The -1 in Necrotia feels pretty bad. I think we lose to maybe a Destroyer Bucky Barnes because we played our resources over into Necrotia and it's a negative lane. Move the Nightcrawler over too. Yeah, it wasn't doing us any good in Necrotia, so we might as well. That's a pretty big play. Had we played any... Oh, the Claw. We have the Claw. At least he was nice and didn't snap on us. That was a big Dark Dimension play. Being able to push the power over into Limbo. Had we not choked and actually played cards on turn 5, that might have turned out differently. Good game, Jeremiah. Very good game. Oh my god, I choked. I was thinking too long about what we should play on turn 5 whenever you drop Professor X, and I ended up roping and not playing anything at all. Oh, what a start to our stream. Umaish, you said you didn't get the notification today? I'm not sure why that might be. I know that we send out a notification in Discord, so if you ever miss them, you can sign up for the live notifications there. Otherwise, I think making sure that the bell notification is on YouTube is really the only thing I could think of. Jeremiah, that's why I didn't snap. I figured it was a misplay. Yeah, it was absolutely a misplay. I was trying to figure out your mind games, and it just wasn't working very well. You were so strong that I was stunned with fear. We just couldn't make a decision. I think this is a bot, and we're drawing their cards. I'm gonna go ahead and snap. We get basically a 5-power Colossus in Necrotia. We do have a 0 for our Doc Ock. We can play something like Angela and then start kind of feeding those cards in. I think we should be able to compete with whatever they're running here. And then Retsu, you said, is this deck viable without Maximus? I think so. I think maybe try teching in an Enchantress or a Shang-Chi. More than likely, an Enchantress. You could also potentially try a Typhoid Mary, but that kind of ups your mana curve, and so it might become clunky at some point. But I would say try out a couple of those and see which one feels like it fits the best. Hey, Progenito, how's it going? I'm glad that you're able to join us. We just got absolutely destroyed by Q. We didn't stand a chance. And so if you didn't see that one, you missed a show. You missed a treat. What a cool looking Deathlock. I don't think I've seen this one. I'm guessing that's probably one of the new variants that they released. These kind of remind me of Dragon Balls, though. I know that they're not. They're all the 6-star or the 6 dot ones. But yeah, it does remind me of Astros. I'm glad I wasn't the only one. It reminds me of Dragon Balls. Definitely not, but that's what it looks like. Oh, Progenio, no, yeah, we matched up against Soul Knife or Jeremiah. What if we do something like armor? We can do a 0 play. Next turn, we can do a Doc Ock maybe here or here. That'll allow us to do like a Deathlock and a Maximus into the Monster Metropolis on the last turn to continue to buff that one up. Or maybe it's going to be more advantageous for us to do a Doc Ock over there so that it gets the Monster Metropolis bonus. Then we can do Deathlock here and Maximus over here on that final turn. Never mind. Never mind, we get countered by the Cosmo. I promise, I was climbing really, really well with this last night. But it looks like we are getting pretty hard countered, even by bots today. And so Schmitty, you said, I heard TLSG was destroyed in the last... You joined in right in time. We absolutely got demolished. There was a turn where I couldn't figure out what to play. So actually the Cosmo, we can go ahead and play a Doc Ock in Weird World. It doesn't feel incredible, but it should give us a decent power push. If we draw into Taskmaster next turn, we can play that here. Otherwise, we can do something like Deathlock and Maximus. Oh no, we can't snap back. We've already snapped. In the J Hightower, dropped in to say hi to everyone. Always at work during the streams, so never able to participate. I pretty much... I match up pretty frequently with all you guys and watch everything. Username, hey JLH1129. I see your username quite a bit, and so it's nice to finally put a face to the name or a name to the other name. I'm glad that you were able to jump in, even if it was just for a second. I appreciate you being here and enjoying the content as well. Maximus plus Deathlock on 6. I think that's better than the Hobgoblin play. Do we stack them both? I guess the Hobgoblin would break their Warpath bonus, right? But then it still comes down to, do we win this one or this one? The bots go beep boop. And then Bruno, how do you get the black and white variants? So this one's a bot, but whenever you split it, so you get it to infinite and then you split it into another base card, that will give you the black and white variants at a small percentage chance. The more times you split it, the more likely you are to get the black and white. So is this the direction we want to go? They only have to push like 9 power here to be able to come up over us. And they do potentially have a... Actually, no, let's reverse this. Maximus is going to be fine here. Deathlock will get rid of the negative Goblin. It won't get rid of Colossus. So I think splitting it here will split our differences. Even if they're running a Destroyer, this should give enough coverage for us to... Oh, that's a strange one. I would not have anticipated a turn 6 Sunspot. So the bots, they're good at countering some of the combos, but some of the last turn plays have been a little bit questionable. We'll be excited to watch later. I appreciate you jumping in. I'm sure that you've already jumped out by now, but Jay, thank you for being here. Thank you for matching up to us. It's always good matches whenever we face you. And so let's go ahead and jump into the next one. Hob on Necro. Maximus on... I didn't realize that it was you that said all three of those Pilk. Rando, yo, this is a problem. There are 4 likes on... Oh, wait. No, I showed 19. Actually, I forgot to like it. Hold on, I can't tell anyone to like the stream if I forgot to like my own. So let's see if I can do this. It may play the sound from the ad really quickly because I don't have YouTube Premium. Okay, so I hit it up with a like that pushes it up to 23. Thank you for the reminder, Rando. I appreciate it. I can't even give anyone a hard time if they haven't liked it whenever I didn't like my own. I always forget. And so I appreciate the reminder. Ralph, positive stream, let's go. We are not quite positive. After this one, we might be positive, and that is Q's time to shine. I feel like he has a direct path to connect to us as soon as we hit positive. That way, it's like always, right down to the line, and it always feels like it's a true, like all or nothing type match. I think we're gonna play Angela into the unknown. We haven't seen the Nexus for a while. I feel like that's probably what's gonna show up. Cosmo into Kamartaj may be a decent play, unless it looks like they're running all movement style cards, in which case that's not great. That's not what you want. That's definitely not what you want to see. I think I'm going to go Bishop for now. And then we'll see what they play. If it looks like a move deck. Okay, it does look like a move deck. Oh, wait, no. That's after our Angela gets destroyed. I thought they were going to save our Angela for a second. So I'm kind of worried about the far left-hand side. They'll be able to drop a Heimdall to shift everything over. But I think we still kind of play it as is. We can do the Cosmo. Next turn we can do a Doc Ock. Turn 6 we can hope for a 0 and a Red Skull to split our power just a little bit. I want to say gold is at least 3. Wait. Isn't gold 6 splits? Was confirmed. Oh, I actually don't know. I don't know the number of times for the splitting. And then Alexander, I feel like choosing the name Dapper Dog makes people more T1, T2 to snap versus you, thinking I'm bot. So for me personally, the one that the username that I see that I snap against a lot is I think it's something like loves to snap or like always snapping. So something that like directly mentioned the snapping mechanic. For some reason, I always feel like I have to snap on turn 1 versus them. And then Rando Calrissian, have you ever heard of the Spiffing Brit? Maybe. You said he posts a ton of helpful tips for YouTube channels on how to get better exposure. Also, oh, okay. Yeah, so the exploits is what kind of did it for me. I saw something about his recently. It was the first time I saw it. He was talking about like YouTube gifted memberships and some different exploits that felt a lot like money laundering, honestly. And so I didn't dig too far into them, but it did seem well put together. If he gives tips on Doc Ock into Murder World, just send it, Pilk. Yeah, the exploit video was pretty amazing, and it talked about basically it talked about like doing the streams, but then extending the time to start for 15, 20, 30 minutes to continue to build up that exposure. I feel bad doing that. I don't want to waste anyone's time, but I thought it was a kind of unique way. Oh, that is a huge vulture. And there's the Heimdall, so it goes off of whatever he top decks here. So it's an interesting play line. And then Crack and Null, hey, how's it going? I'm glad that you were able to jump in and join us today. And then they had a Crystal too. What a strange deck. So it goes off of whatever they top decked. Do we have it shot at winning here? We can do 0 and Red Skull. That'll give us the win condition for sure here. This one becomes the questionable one. The wild Pokemon Kraken Null has arrived. yeah, the bot was running... I'm pretty sure this is the bot. They were running Crystal in their move deck list. And then the Dapper Dog, yeah, that one, I don't think I would snap extra on a name like Dapper Dog. And then Max, good morning. Did you already give your thoughts on the patch? Yeah, Max, I did. So I actually stayed up pretty late pushing out all of the videos. But I did. There is a video kind of breaking down. But in summary, I like all of the changes. I think they're really, really good. As long as they don't snap play it out with the 4. You're a madman, Pilk. You're a madman. We'll let it play out. I wish we had one extra card or one extra energy to throw here. Pilk knows all. Pilk. Oh, it's 4. I can't see it. Oh, okay. Hold on. I'll adjust it. I didn't realize that it had gotten off. Yeah, it's for the 4 cube, but we end up taking it because they play their Hulkbuster mid. A fortunate way to find a couple extra cubes. So we are now positive. So this is your time to shine, Q. This is your time to jump in and give us a good run for our money. Show us that Quake counterplay. Rando, he's posted tons of helpful tips on YouTube on how to get better. And then the exploits. So Akaichu, what do I think about the welcome bundle? I think that if people were anticipating it to be like a catch-up mechanic, that it feels underwhelming. But as far as the value for the price, I think it's $3. You get at least like $15 worth of value. So I think it's a good kind of introduction into the game. It gives you a little bit of gold to do some refreshes, get some initial credits. But if it was anticipated that it was a way to really like help catch those new players up, then I could see it feeling underwhelming. The new cube count font, though, they messed it up. Yeah, it does look a little bit. I don't know if it's the outline of the text or exactly what it is. It is a little bit harder to read. You're right. I mean, Alexander. I mean, I always turn one snap versus Sulky Hulky. Sulky Hulky has been matching up against some absolute monsters. It's always interesting when I match up against the same players on Sulky Hulky as I do on TLSG, especially when they're ones that I struggle with playing on my main account. I'm like, oof, we are in for a troublesome match here. But it's always fun to see kind of how that matchmaking goes with the collection discrepancy that I have, and like how that gets factored in. Then Sapal, poor Crystal, a character that's practically an avatar with all of the bending and yet such a bad snap ability. Yeah. Hopefully they find a way to make her feel impactful or useful. I think at 4 cost, she's just too hard, too clunky. At 3 cost, I think it'd be a little bit more doable. But then I don't know. Maybe that becomes a little bit too too easy to manipulate. I guess we'll wait and see. And then Akaichu, I'm waiting for a Sulky Hulky stream. I was going to the other week where I was going to feature a Sulky Hulky video during the week so that we could do a live stream with him. Maybe, I don't know. Friday I have an idea for more of a fun stream, or a fun video and stream. Maybe Monday or Tuesday, instead of releasing Sulky Hulky's video on Saturday, maybe we do a Sulky Hulky stream at the start of next week. Snake Eye Snap. I think we have a pretty decent shot here. With the Nexus, with their Punisher, yeah, this should be an easy snap. I wasn't paying close attention to it. We have Red Skull that's going to be able to come in and buff up our Angela further. This should be a pretty easy one. We're going to go ahead and throw a couple of cards out onto the board. We'll play 0. That'll let us play Red Skull next turn. We can move Nightcrawler away. We can either do a Taskmaster or a Doc Ock or something else into the Nexus, which should push a lot of power. And then Jeremiah, I know that you wound up buying the Welcome Bundle, and I got mostly a full collection. Yeah, it's a really good, if you're going to make purchases anyways, it's hard to justify not buying the bundle. For $3, you get a lot of value out of it. And so, yeah, absolutely. If I didn't have a full bundle or a full collection already, if I didn't have a full collection already, I would definitely buy the Welcome Pack, and I may still do it anyways just to make sure that I get the variant, which is a 1200 gold variant in and of itself. And so if I'm wanting to kind of add that to the collection, then I think it's definitely worthwhile. What's a sub for 0? Danute, 0 is pretty impactful for this one. Being able to cancel out Red Skull's ability, being able to cancel out Doc Ock's, I think he's pretty pivotal in this one. Like, you might be able to replace one of the other cards. I don't know that there's a good replacement for 0 in this list. And so let's go with the Doc Ock play. We'll leave this one full for now. We can move Nightcrawler afterwards. That'll protect us from like a Hobgoblin. And then we can do either a Doc Ock, a Sunspot, a Taskmaster next turn, or something similar. I love that all the boosters are different colors for each card now. Yeah, I think that, like, aesthetically, it's much more pleasing to see it that way versus all the same color. It makes them kind of stand out. Arrow for the Nexus is so awesome. Using Arrow to pull them away should be an easy cube game. Do we play Taskmaster here? Do we go ahead and throw him into negative zone to copy the 15 to make sure we win this one? Then we could do that. That way they're going to have to swing both locations and invest cards in both. You think right side? But then if they have a Shang-Chi, that I think we should be fine either way. And then Samuel TSE, how about a Doc Ock replacement? I would try Typhoid Mary or maybe even Enchantress to counter any kind of ongoing abilities. It's not going to be a direct. You guys say right side? It's not going to be a direct like replica or a direct replacement. No one would expect the left side. I mean, that's the element of surprise. It swings us over that negative. We already win the hub. At that point, they have to invest. They have to split where they invest their cards. Oh my gosh, I'm back and forth. I'm gonna go with the original playline. We're gonna copy the 15 with Taskmaster. I think it makes them a little bit harder to win. Because if I was them, I would stack some power here, trying to swing this one, or maybe I would split the power. But us investing in both kind of makes it a little bit more difficult. No, or the Spanish Inquisition. No one would expect the Spanish Inquisition. Oh, no pull stuff in on 5. Oh, to cap out the Nexus location. That's not a bad play either. Progenito, wouldn't Typhoid Mary be better than Doc Ock? If you're looking at just canceling out Typhoid Mary's ability, I would say yes, Progenito. But Doc Ock offers a little bit of flexibility. So with the on reveal, playing it behind Cosmo, we can play it a little bit easier so that we can do a a 0 and a red skull on 6. And then we can still push that large power onto the board with Doc Ock. With Typhoid Mary, since it's an ongoing, you have to either drop it with 0 or really not at all. And then there are some cases where you drop Doc Ock just to disrupt the opponent. And so he offers a little bit more flexibility. I think in terms of like power and like just that 0 interaction, Typhoid Mary may be a little bit better, yes. Oh, how many cubes was that? Was that 4? I wasn't paying attention. I was too busy chatting. I think it was 4, so that puts us up to a positive 7. Q, this is your time. This is your time to jump in. It's your time to shine. We're going against Clark. It's all bots today. Which made it really hard to film and record our video yesterday, but made it really easy to climb. The Bishop nerf. Yeah, the Bishop got nerfed. I don't really think it's that impactful. If his ability got changed, I think that would be where we would see a lot of issues, but since it's still the same, the 1 power, I don't think it makes too much of a difference. Hey, Raj, how's it going? And then, hey, Milky Snap, thank you guys for jumping in and joining us. I think we're going to play Angela, and I think actually Angela's probably due for a nerf as well. I think she probably needed it over the Bishop, just because a 2-cost 9-power card is such an incredible value. You don't see that. It's almost double the other best 2-cost card that we have, and she can get that fairly often. Snake Eyes, you want us to snap? They have the Iron Man here, so we have to play away from the Sakaar lane, but it's a bot. We'll snap. I don't think we have just like an absolute great play line, but I don't think we have a terrible one either. Raj, I started a free-to-play account, and I'm pretty sure I can climb to infinite. If I don't, yeah. So the first season from my free-to-play account, the climb, it was all bots. I was able to trick them with a Sunspot Infinite build. So they would snap on 5. I would get an easy 8 cubes, and it would just repeat like that over and over. And so yeah, I think it's on the free-to-play account. But then I think that messed up my MMR. Start playing into the raft. I think we need to play into Kiln. Capping out the raft would be nice, but we can only play here for 2 more turns, and then I don't think we're going to overcome their power level in Sakaar, and so I think we need to win Kiln for sure, and then we can focus on winning the raft after. Would love to try this one out. Any thoughts on a replacement for Doc Ock? Actually, yeah, there's been a lot of conversation on it. So the replacement for Doc Ock that I would think would be either Typhoid Mary or Teching in an Enchantress. I think those would probably be your best bets. I said Typhoid Mary, right? Typhoid Mary or Enchantress. So we're gonna play. Actually, I don't like the Cosmo here. If they don't play anything, then we're fine. I think we play the Cosmo into the raft. We'll be able to do Maximus. We can do potentially a Doc Ock. I think that gives us more flexibility into the raft location. Very odd. I didn't get a notification that you were live. Haki, Umais, another one of our viewers, said the same thing. So I'm not sure why it didn't go out. Yeah, Snake Eyes, I agree. The Cosmo on the right gives us a little bit more flexibility, and then if they don't play into Kiln, then we don't need to worry about pushing too much power there anyways. Let's grab those 8 cubes. I mean, while we're playing against bots, we might as well grab them while we could. Could it be the crowd that forgot or didn't know to update? It could be. It could be that there's that kind of fractioning of players that just didn't update or forgot to update, or didn't realize that there was an update. So usually after a couple of days, it kind of balances back out, but it's really strange. I got so used to playing against real players that playing against bots again feels almost like cheating. Maximus, Electra, and then move Nightcrawler over. Pilk, did I go with the playline that you were thinking? Oh, Maximus. Oh, okay. We could have capped out the raft, is what you were saying, right? That probably would have been the playline. We could have capped out the raft location, got a free 6-cost card. I still don't think, even with a 6-cost card, we're going to overcome Sakaar, though. gearing it. Yeah, if you move Nightcrawler over, you can fill the raft now, but I'm not sure that wins the game. I tend to agree. Just the Sicard Iron Man gives us too much play around. It's really difficult to come up over and win that one. I think we push Red Skull over, pull Nightcrawler over. I think even if they cap that one out, Red Skull's still a 7 power play. I think we're still fine. That'd have to be a huge last turn play from them, and they have 2 of their large resources in Sicard. These bots are not it today. These bots are giving us, they're donating cubes. It feels like this climb, after the last 2 seasons, the climb has been really, really rough. It has been pretty tough all the way through. So far this season, once we start matching against bots, it feels like they have some really bad last turn plays. And we've been collecting cubes all over the place. Yo, a free Odin, that's a good sign. That is a good sign. Ooh, Dawn, is this one a real player? Is this the first real... No, this is, what, the second real player we've played? I get Clark a lot, too. Clark makes his way around the bot scene. And then Raj... Oh, no, that's still the same one. Toby, how about a Red Skull replacement? Red Skull's a little bit more difficult than replacing Doc Ock. I think you could replace it the same way, but Red Skull is such a big kind of presence and power push. That's your like primary win condition, being able to push the 15 on both 5 and 6 or an 18 power play on 6. That I think replacing Red Skull, you start losing a bunch of like the potency of the deck list. I would say try a couple things out and see, but I don't know that there's a good direct. I don't know that there's a direct replacement. Pilk, my best guess is that middle location is Nexus. We didn't make use of the Project Pegasus. I don't know. I felt like it'd be really bad value to do the Red Skull, or Maximus is going to force them to draw into cards. So I ended up just kind of letting it tinker and rope. Unfortunately, I know that people get upset that I do that. I do that quite often, and I need to get better at it. And then Paul, hey, Paul, how's it going? And then Friars, thank you for jumping in and joining us. I'm glad that both of you guys are here. So we waited so long. I think we need to start pushing some power onto the board. Right now, they don't have anything besides rocks into the Gia. It could be a Patriot deck list. It could also be a bot. This could be a Dawn bot. But I have to climb from like 20 this season, so you got it. You'll have it by the end of the season. I don't think you'll have an issue. You have to remember that with global launch and with patches, that shifts things up quite a bit. And so there's not like one particular like really good deck. And so you see a lot more people that are experimenting, trying different things. And so if you can kind of think on your toes and find something that works really well, really quickly, you can net gain a lot of cubes that way. But I think you've got this. This is a pretty bad draw. I'm gonna go ahead and play Doc Ock. Most likely this one ends in us retreating. But I think I play Doc Ock, force them to pull into something in Project Pegasus. Maybe we draw a 0 next turn and we can 0 out a Red Skull. But we didn't draw our Cosmo or our 0 up to this point. And so I think this is going to be our best play. It's only for 1 cube right now. Does Doc Ock trigger the Lechugia for your opponent? No, just for yourself. Since they're not playing the cards there, it doesn't count the cards as cards being played. It just pulls them into and places them in that location, so they don't get the downside. It would be really cool if it did. That'd be another location that you really want to like force them to push a lot of rocks into their deck. I was struggling a little bit, but putting Storm last night, turn on Nexus and pushing power to the other lanes so the buff disappears is working for me now. Good. And so I'm glad you found the Doc Ock into the Fisk Tower destruction. We're not coming back from that. We can't recover. That one's a pretty low roll, but it's just for 1 cube, so that's okay. That is a very quick retreat on our end. That one does not feel good, but you get those low rolls every once in a while. And then Milky, I'm running into so many Iron Man onslaughts with this featured. So I actually haven't ran into very many ongoing decks so far. And I I almost feel like whenever I change decks to something that has ongoing abilities, I see more ongoing abilities. So if you're running something that's using ongoings, maybe tech in an Enchantress to be able to counter them. I think that would be your best bet, or maybe even a Rogue to be able to do the same thing. It's Enchantress time to shine. Yeah, it absolutely is. So let's go with the Sunspot. We will probably force play our cards early. We do have Nightcrawler, so we'll be able to move him out. So this one, I think we should be able to beat them to the raft location. Ooh, they already have the infinite card back, which looks pretty sleek. I'm excited about being able to unlock that one. As long as we can cap it out by turn 3, then we should be fine. I think we go ahead and go with 0. Next turn we'll play our Maximus, which will get zeroed out. We can move Nightcrawler at some point. It'll give us a free 6 cost card. Yeah, let's just fill up the raft. I'm going to go ahead and snap ahead of time. I don't think that they beat us. They may tie in capping out this location. We both have a Nightcrawler to move over, but I think overall we have a little bit more of an advantage of trying to cap it out first. Hucky, what time is it over there? It's 10:53 a.m. so almost 11. So almost lunchtime for us over here. Okay, so let's go with the Maximus. Maybe Los Diablos base will kill the Nidavellir location, and then if not, I think it's okay as well. Let's keep our Nightcrawler there for now. We don't have a better location or path or change place for it, so we might as well keep it there for the time being. Plus, we needed it to cap out this location. Oh, it's 3 a.m. for you, Mark Sign, and you're still up watching us. That is dedication. I'm so like blown away by everyone that stays up so late and watches the different watches the stream or watches our stream, my stream, and it's so late. I appreciate you guys so very much. Hopefully that it's nice and kind of unwinding. It helps you relax by the end of the night. And then Hockey, it's 2:53. Progenito, it's 4:50 for you. So it's almost 5 p.m. It's almost dinner time for you. And then Rando, you're gonna have to change your whole setup when they drop widescreen. Yeah, I'm gonna have to, and I'm looking forward to it because right now there are like different elements, so I have to do like 6 different screen captures for all of the different elements. So like this is a screen capture, this is one. But yeah, we're gonna have to completely change it up, and I'm excited for that change. So I think we drop Bishop. I think we hold Cosmo until. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Bishop first and then Electro. I think we hold Cosmo and we try to counter a potential like Heimdall play on the very last turn. I think should be a pretty decent play line for us. Oh no, they get their Human Torch to safety with the Doctor Strange, unfortunately. Otherwise, it would have pulled what the Craven, which would have been pretty nice. But do I speak Minionese? I do not. I don't speak Minionese. At least not currently. Minionese, a lot of what they say seems like it has elements of Spanish in it, right? Tay Lily, what? Do we play the Doc Ock? Do we play the Doc Ock, or do we just play Cosmo? We can force them to try and cap out this location. That would give us a good idea of like if we need to move something, if we need to skip. I kind of like the idea of forcing them to play all of their resources into Los Diablos base. Minionese is mostly tag-along, as far as I know, which has Spanish, English, and Malay. That's interesting. That's good to know. And yeah, I am anticipating the Heimdall drop. I think being able to force them into moving their cards where they don't necessarily want them to, I think that should work at least somewhat in our favor. Iron Fist is kind of unfortunate. Magic Play is an interesting one though, because most of the time moves decks will shift everything, and so the right lane is usually their weaker lane. It's interesting. And then their magic can't shift over because they didn't have a space to. The worst movie. I don't even know how to interpret that, Daylily. So it's a police car, it's the fox and the rabbit. Is it Zootopia? That's the only one that I know of with like a fox as the main character. And then Zaw Goodman. Good morning, TLSG. I just had the most tilting game against a Doc Ock. Could have won if the cards came out in a different order. Those are always the worst. Whenever it like comes out just in the flipped order, so like if you're running Odin and that comes first instead of last, that one, yeah, Doc Ock drops can be incredibly tilting if it comes out in the wrong order. So if you feel like you're tilted, definitely kind of take a step away for a second, and then see if you can kind of reassess, and then kind of find yourself in more of a centered area. So I kind of want to drop Cosmo, but I also want to kind of hold it. Minions is the best, and I'm not being sarcastic. I kind of want to hold Cosmo and see if we can maybe drop it here or here to counter a last turn Heimdall play. And so I think I'm just going to drop Ant-Man for now, and then just wait this one out. We'll let Sunspot absorb the difference here. And then Richard Wynn, hey, how's it going? I'm glad that you were able to jump in and join us today. So if they do a Heimdall, I mean, shifting anything over here doesn't feel great, actually. They could shift their 9 power and 2 power. I don't think they have a good win condition here. So we turn first. If they do Heimdall here, they're going to push... I think it goes off of turn order, so I think it would be Craven that would send over. Yeah, Heimdall seems pretty bad for them. But if they don't Heimdall, they've already moved their Nightcrawler. So this one is capped out. If we do Cosmo and then they do Heimdall, then we win this one. I think we do it in this order. This will give us the Ant-Man bonus in mid. Spectrum will buff up our Cosmo just a little bit. We'll gain more power with Sunspot. I think this protects all of our aspects, right? And then Vegito, yeah, they already have the card back, which looks pretty sleek. I know if Pilk Enjoyer is still here, he has it as well. And so definitely, we've been playing against a lot of bots. So the shift up with the patch, I think has helped some people climb pretty early. So I think we're gonna go do this play order. We're gonna do Cosmo over here. We most likely lose this lane, but if they try and do a Heimdall shift, it's gonna counter it. And then even if they do a Heimdall shift, I think we win regardless. Oh, they did the shocked emoji. So I think that is the Heimdall. Yep, we do counter their Heimdall. They're not going to be able to move cards over. I think even if they had the Craven, I don't think it would have been enough anyways. But it does feel good to counter the Heimdall play. That brings us up to a positive 18 cubes for the stream so far. Let's go ahead and jump into another one. Q, this is your time to shine. You're going to have to match up to us at least 3 times in a row and wipe the floor with each time to be able to get us into Mr. Negative stream. So let's go ahead and lock that one in. Let's see. I'm making sure that I didn't miss anything from any of the chats. Zaw Goodman, I can't wait until the Nexus stop being a featured location. Do you dislike the Nexus more than you disliked, let's say, the Peak? I find that the Nexus is a little bit easier to play around. I feel like it is very, very, very polarizing. But I feel like there's still a lot of play around potential with it. And then Daylily, have you heard that New Universal is trying to buy Warner Brothers? I haven't. I haven't been up to date on any of that, so I haven't heard much about it at all. And then Astros, what's the max cube stream so far? I think it was 40. It was a Friday stream, and we had a huge string of good luck. It was just like, it was probably like the best case scenario, and it was a lot of really good 8 cube victories. And so I think that's the max that we've had so far. And then Young Master, hey, how's it going? I'm glad that you're able to jump in and join us today. I hope that you're having a great day so far. Featured locations are not fun. Everyone has to run the same decks. Gabriel, I feel like this week is different. Last week, yes, I feel like everyone had to run either Mr. Negative or Mr. Negative components. But this week, I feel like there is play around potential. So, ooh, yeah, it could be a Cerebro 3. And Cerebro 3 is something that I thought about with the featured location because you can run Quake in it. And then that way you can shift the locations around and then try and steal the Nexus away from the opponent. So it could be a Cerebro 3. You guys, I think you guys are probably right on that one. But if it is, then the Onslaught Citadel lane should be their weak lane by playing like a Cerebro, a Mystique in that location. I think at that point we just have to try and figure out how to win one of the other lanes. But let's play a couple of cards into the Angela lane. It'll buff her up a little bit. Next turn we will end with a 0, and so that we can play Doc Ock on 5. Daylily, what's the worst animated movie you've seen? I don't know. It's been a while since I've seen really any animated movie that was just really, really bad. As far as new ones, I heard that the new Buzz Lightyear movie was just okay. I feel like if you're a kid, it was good to see. But after that, I heard that most other people didn't enjoy it. It's been a while since I've seen animated films, though. So I think we play our Cosmo. Potentially here, we can do a 0 play. That'll make us play our Doc Ock into the Avengers compound next turn, but I think that may be fine. And so we'll lock that one in. Young Master, hope you're having a good day too. I had fun with the game we just played. Cosmo got me good. Oh, Young Master, were you running the move deck? The Heimdall on the last turn? I'm glad that you were able to jump in and join us after that. It was a gut call. It was either you were dropping Heimdall on the left or the far right, and it was hard for me to hold it. I wanted to drop him a lot earlier. But I was kind of surprised that it ended up working out that way. Ice Knight, Dragon Ball Evolution was quite awful, but wasn't that a like a live action? I heard it was really bad, but I haven't seen that one. If it was the live action one, I've seen a lot of memes about it, but I didn't actually watch it. I've watched a lot of Dragon Ball Z stuff, but that was one that I didn't take in. You'll defend Dragon Ball Evolution. They tried their best. The movie Titan is the worst big budget movie I've seen. I actually haven't heard of Titan. And so how long ago did Titan release, Dale? So they wiped quite a bit of our board with Killmonger, and it does look, actually, this doesn't look like a Cerebro 3 anymore. I'm not sure what they're running. I say we split our power. I say we do Maximus into the Onslaught Citadel. We push some more power here. We have a pretty big gap everywhere. I don't know how they overcome this. Ooh, Dragon Ball fan, favorite anime? I don't know. I have a lot of animes that I like binged. Ooh, Daylily, you didn't like Up? I watched Up quite a few times. I thought it was pretty cute. I thought it was kind of touching. And on a more, I guess, I don't know. I watched Encanto, and I always heard about all of these people, all of these like older adults watching it with their kids, and they're just getting like so emotional and just feeling. I felt that movie so deeply. I don't feel movies that deeply, and that one, I don't know, it hit a chord for whatever reason. So if you haven't seen Encanto, it's a very good one. If you are into animated films. But as far as anime, my favorite anime, I think Dragon Ball Z is probably up there. I didn't watch GT or Super, or the prequel Dragon Ball. I didn't watch either of those. Dragon Ball Z was kind of like, I grew up with it, and so it really resonated with me. I think if you are a Dragon Ball Z fan, I think all of us when we were younger tried to do the Kamehameha, just hoping that we somehow harness the power of of the Saiyans. And then outside of that, I watched a lot of the other ones like growing up. So I watched Digimon, Pokemon, Monster Rancher. I really had a soft spot for Monster Rancher. It's not like a really big one. But I thought it was like a unique draw. I liked the characters. And And so as far as like those that were growing up, and then more like new day, I really like Black Clover. Black Clover really grew on me recently. I'm not fully caught up to date, but I thought it was a good premise. I thought the main character, like, he's the underdog, and so I think that one was pretty entertaining as well. If you haven't seen Black Clover, the main character, the first like probably 5 episodes is kind of annoying, but he slowly but surely grows on you. Monster Rancher, the CD collection destroyer game. I loved playing that on PlayStation. I would be borrowing like. My dad had a CD collection. I'd be like borrowing his CDs. I was checking with neighbors to see if they had any different CDs. Yeah, the Monster Rancher 2 one. That was one of my favorite games. I played that one for so long. That one was so enjoyable. I'm glad that you guys are kind of on the same wavelength with it. Because most people I know, they were not a fan of the Monster Rancher like series or that game. Then hand up into Atelan. We probably should have played Electra as well. Snug, you're right. I was distracted by anime talk. But yeah, we probably should have, because we're going to shuffle our cards, and so it would have given us a better chance of drawing into better cards this turn. But unfortunately, we weren't paying attention. Over cop, rabbits, and foxes. So the Zootopia, yeah. And then where the Backstreet Boys Millennium CD gave a special skinned S-rank monster. Oh my gosh, the nostalgia. This nostalgia with that game. And like trying to find the one that gives the Phoenix, and there was one particular one that gave a really strong, it was an S-ranked, I think it was Joker. And nobody I knew had that CD. But it was so cool because you didn't know, it was before... like it was right when the internet was coming around, so you didn't have a complete list of, you know, what was potentially gonna pull. So it was like, I don't know, it was exciting. It was you never knew exactly what you were gonna draw into, or I guess pull into. And so yeah, I got really excited about Monster Rancher as a kid. And then Yu-Gi-Oh! I was a big Yu-Gi-Oh! Fan for a while as well. These are the ones that kind of that like formed my childhood. I'm going to play Red Skull into Washington, D.C., more so on like the actual game that we're playing. We're playing Red Skull into Washington, D.C. because he did get zeroed out. He will get the Washington, D.C. bonus, so whenever we copy it with Taskmaster, that will copy the 18 power. And then Dale, you said the Titan is about genetically modified humans that go to space, but they never go to space, so it's 2 hours of a guy arguing with his wife. Oh, I don't know if that was like a super simplified way of explaining it. But like, I almost want to watch it just to see how closely it aligns with that. And then yeah, Digimon was another really big favorite of mine. So I'm going to move Nightcrawler over. We'll play Taskmaster. That should give us an easy win in the middle location. And I think we stand a good chance of winning Washington, D.C. as well. So the other Digimon enjoyers here, did you guys have any of the like the Digivices, like the walking Digivices? And then did you guys just shake them instead of wearing them on your belt and walking around like we were supposed to? Because I can only imagine. I was one of the kids that shook them, and I can only imagine what that looked like. Like I did it whenever I was watching, like I have some siblings, and like if we were at their sporting events and I had one and I was just in the stands shaking my Digivice, I can only imagine what all of the adults thought. Like such a like, I don't know, just sitting there shaking your Digivice to get it to count your steps instead of actually walking. Those were the good days. Yeah, I feel like shaking them was more efficient. Like even if you walked, you could do it faster just shaking it. And then Daylily, you hate anime? Oh, I'm sorry. We can get off of the anime talk for a little bit. We went down a we'll let it read through. Kraken. Maybe. Is it going to come through? That's actually the first like membership or dono that we got this stream. I'll give it a couple seconds. If not, I'll trigger it manually. There it goes.
Change into digital champions to save the digital world.
That one was so good. I think because I played Digimon World 1, I think that really like sank it in. That was such a hard game. Like my Digimon died, and they always turned into the like the feces Digimon because I didn't know how to care for them. But overall, it was a very fun game. I still haven't beat it to this day, even though I've played it a lot. And then Gabriel, I had a Tamagotchi. Yeah, the Tamagotchis were very similar to the Digivices. Numamon, that's what it is, Mark. But the Tamagotchis are very similar to what the Digivice Digimon were. I think it was like the same presence or the same kind of idea behind them. So I think we play our Ant-Man. We don't have Zero. We might even do a Red Skull at some point. I don't know. With Sinister London, we're gonna be able to duplicate the cards. And Kraken Null, thank you. I don't think I said thank you. Thank you for the $5 super chat. The Digimon nostalgia is real. And then I think recently with Pokemon coming back into popularity, we let my daughter listen to like different nursery rhymes. We listened to Kids Bop, and they redid the Pokemon theme song. And I still know every single word to it. It's one of those that I don't think you'll ever forget. But thank you, Kraken, for the super chat. The feces, the feces Digimon. That's what it is. And then Daylily, do y'all want to work for J. Jonah Jameson? He's a mean boss. I don't think I could stand it. Like the pressure of having someone that aggressive. I don't think I could do it. And then Ego, yeah, Ego came up, so we did go ahead and snap because it creates so much like crazy swings that you might as well lean in at that point. Ooh, that's awful. Ego did a great play for him. Ego really played Spider-Man into Sinister London for him? That's huge. We're gonna go ahead and retreat. We're not gonna donate the extra 4. That was probably one of the better Ego plays that I've ever seen. Ego is usually not very intuitive, not very smart, but that was clutch. That was very critical, especially with the Doc Ock capping out the Ego location so that Spider-Man had no choice but to duplicate over into Ruins. It was huge. That was such a good Ego play. C3 Ego, bro. Oh, no, I didn't mean to BM you. Oh no. I realize that you guys can't see the snaps as much, but I asked them if they snapped. Like the ultimate BM play. Or Mr. Perkins from Despicable Me. So Pal, Krakenol could not have got the Digimon theme song stuck in my head anymore. I mean, that's just that one liner. And then like the way that it says those the digital champions into the digital world, like, you know, that's one of those you read it and you hear it because it's like that pivotal in kind of, I guess, when we grew up. And so we're gonna play a couple more here. We're just a little bit over an hour. We'll play a couple more before we end the lunch live stream. Thank you guys for the nostalgia trip today. If nothing else, we had a lot of cube games. We had a lot of good chat. But the nostalgia from the chat has been phenomenal. And then Brady, what state do you guys hail from? Wait, I guess what state do you hail from? So just specifically me. I currently live in Texas. I grew up a lot of my childhood in Oklahoma, and then we moved to Texas for my parents' career opportunities. And so that is where I still currently am. I moved away for college and then moved back to be closer to family. As everyone starts getting older, I wanted to make sure that I was around for them to see my daughter grow up and just to have a closer connection with family. So that is where we are. We are Texas. We are in Texas. Mark Sign, here we have the Japanese version of the OP, which is a great song. For what, the Digimon theme song? Daylily, if I had to pick a favorite minion, I'd say Kevin. He's the tall one, right? He's the kind of tall, lanky one. There is a meme of Farnsworth saying, "Good news, everyone! I've invented a device that makes you read this in my voice." It's one of those like really pivotal voices that, you know, that's all you hear. You don't hear anything else. If you're feeling the Pokemon song nostalgia, I recommend checking out Unreveled's Perfect Pokérap. It's a presentation from a convention where a man tries to include all of the current all of the current Pokemon. That is a huge list nowadays. I can only imagine, how difficult that would be. And the Daylily, you know so many of the minions. I don't know that many of them. We're gonna go ahead and snap. I don't know that many of the minions. But there are quite a few. I didn't realize that many had names. I think the last minions I saw was probably 2 or 3. And so I'm definitely not up to date on all of the minions that exist. So I think we're gonna do a Doc Ock behind the Cosmo. That'll be a 10 power play. Then we could do a Taskmaster into one of these other lanes, or if we draw into our Red Skull, we can do 0 and Red Skull on 6. I think it's hard for them to come up over this power. I anticipate a death into the Nexus, but I'm hoping that our current power push is enough to kind of offset that. The old Pokemon music CD even had a track with Misty singing some song about how she how she has feelings for Ash. Really? Alexander, how did I not know this CD existed? And then Daylily is the biggest Minions fan I've ever seen. Yeah, I know, it's impressive. Like, I could have probably done Kevin, Bob, and Dave, but outside of that, that's you're starting to borderline on like really impressive there. So they do, so they can do 24 power into the Nexus, right? So they could do a Death and a Taskmaster. Oh, no, they can't do a Taskmaster because we have Cosmo. So they can't Taskmaster into the Nexus. So it's a Death and then maybe something else. But I don't know if it's enough to overcome what we currently have there. So I'm going to go ahead and I think we play a Taskmaster into the far left-hand side. I think that's going to be a decent use for our 10 power push. And then outside of that, we just have to hope that they're not able to push anything huge. Zola? But Zola wouldn't do it for him either. Because Zola could be used here and could push here and here. And so that'd be a 12, that'd be a 16 power. We have 10, and so as long as we win this one. So if they do a Zola, a Death and a Zola in mid, then it'd be better for a Taskmaster mid, right? Death plus Destroyer. Ooh, could they have a Destroyer deck? If they have a Destroyer, our Cosmo feels really unfortunate. If we lose Nexus, we lose the game, so it wouldn't matter too much where Taskmaster is. Yeah, if we lose Nexus, yes. But if it's a really close one, then it... Oh, yeah, actually, never mind. Yeah, you're right. Because if we win Nexus, then we win the Onslaught Citadel. So there's the Death, and then there's Chavez, which is enough to swing it. I should have thought of that one as well. Well, we go down to a positive 12. Q, are you still in here? I think we're going to queue into maybe one more to see if we can gain a couple of these cubes back. So Za Goodman, you were right. The Death and then the additional card. So Chavez was a pretty good play line there, especially with the Nexus being able to push that much power late and restricting us from pushing much power. Was a pretty good play line. Astro's Animaniacs level. I can do the old Pokérap, not the current. Yeah, the current one with how many Pokemon there are now, I couldn't even imagine. I knew the original 150 or 151 if you include Mew, but now there's just so many variations and mixes, and I couldn't. Yeah, we're Rando Calricine. We're gonna do one more. I don't want to end on a hard loss. And then Q, we might be too far apart in ranks right now. Yeah, and I feel like they did something with the matchmaking because I think it's like we're playing against primarily bots today and yesterday. And so maybe as that kind of levels out, we'll be able to start matching up again. I like the idea of playing Cosmo. That way, if we draw into a Maximus next turn, we can go ahead and play Maximus onto the board. So I'm going to go ahead and play Cosmo onto the far left-hand side. If we don't draw into it, then next turn we will probably skip or just play 0 so that we can play Red Skull on 5 and then Taskmaster on 6. 905 according to Google, but a new game is coming out. Wow. That is so many compared to what we used to have. And I remember I spent hours like doing resets and trading people and getting like all of the ones, like the version exclusive ones that I couldn't get on my game to get all 150 Pokemon. The last one that I caught was Tauros, and the prize that you get at the very end was a Master Ball, and I was never more deflated in my like, it was something that I spent hours upon hours doing, and then it has you go visit like the Pokemon Master and you get a Master Ball out of it after you just got everything. It was a gut punch. It was a gut punch for real. The only new Pokemon that matters is Cloth. Cloth is the greatest Pokemon ever conceived. Cloth. I have played Sword and Shield. I borrowed it from a friend. What is this? What is this Cloth? It looks like Krabby, but mixed with like seaweed. Is this like New Day? Is this like New Day Krabby? Everyone is a Cloth fan because Cloth is perfect. So we're gonna go play Red Skull into Washington DC, similar to what we did before. It'll bump it up to 18 power. We can then use our Taskmaster into Miniaturized Lab to push the 18 power there as well. Should give us a good chance to win both Washington DC and the Miniaturized Lab. I don't know them all. If you ask me to name them without seeing them, without visuals, with visuals, I can name them. I can't name all of them. A lot of them, yes, but towards the later part, I stopped learning the names, and I can identify the Pokemon, but a lot of times I don't know their name. So they've capped this one out. Do we? I don't think it matters where we play, right? Oh yeah, it does. We can't play Taskmaster into the far left because of Cosmo. So we're gonna drop our Taskmaster into the far right, push an 18 power play here and here. And I think we should be fine. Unless they have a Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi trumps us every single time. So pal, I'm definitely a Cloth fan. So what's so good about Cloth? And actually, we're gonna do one more. I know I said that was the last one. We're gonna do one more. Yeah, we could have played Doc Ock instead, but it wouldn't have been as big of a power push. It would have swung us the left-hand side, but then if we lost mid or right anyways, we still would have lost. So I went ahead and did the bigger power of the two. We are gonna do one more. I'm addicted. We're gaining. We're playing against bots. We're having some good chat, and so I wanna keep going. There are only 150 Pokemon, only 151 Pokemon. It's a shame they never made any more games. They stopped at the top. If we lose mid or right, we lose either way. Yeah, that's true. So I guess at that point, or in that regard, it didn't necessarily matter. The Doc Ock would have been a guaranteed win in the left-hand side, and then it just came down to winning the other one. And then Sammy, hey, how's it going? Doc Ock right for guaranteed. Doc Ock left for the guaranteed win. Yeah, unless they came up over our power, so like a Shang-Chi mid would have beaten us there. So I think we skip here. We have Nexus in the middle. If we draw into Cosmo, that will prevent a potential Quake play. That'll give us quite a bit of play around potential. And so I think that'll be like probably our best bet or best play line. I'm gonna go ahead and skip here as well. Let Sunspot buff up. And then Sammy, we're good. We've been climbing a lot. We've been as much as positive 20 this stream, and then back down to like a positive 12. So it's been back and forth just a little bit, but overall the stream's been really, really positive, and really, really enjoyable today. So I think we play our Angela, our Nightcrawler. We move Nightcrawler out at some point. And then hope for a 0 that we draw into so we can play our Red Skull on 6 into the Nexus. I would really like a Cosmo though. Cosmo would make sure that they're not going to be able to shift the location away from us and like pull it out from under our feet. More great things about Cloth. He comes in several sizes, can look backwards, sneaky and cute. Was he in like the latest like anime or movie, or is it just kind of like like this like fan favorite that kind of developed? Why is the effect still showing from Lizard in the Isle of Silence? Lizard has one of those effects, so even if he like gets moved or destroyed, his effect still remains there, or his like that little ooze, that little green kind of border stays there anyways. It's an odd occurrence. So I think we're gonna play our Doc Ock. They did shift this location. This could be the real Mysterio. They have to play cards, so if they play a card this turn, then our Doc Ock's not going to pull into anything from them, and it should give us a decent upside here. He's in the upcoming game, the Scarlet and Violet Cloth. So how do people know so much about him already? Oh, he was only revealed about a month ago? Really? And so they do play a card there. Ooh, it's the Iron Man. So I probably expect this one to be the real Mysterio, right? So if it is the real Mysterio, that's an extra 10 power here. Whenever they play 1 or 2 cards, that's another 12 to 14 power. So I'd say they probably are going to end up getting about 30, end up having about 30 power in the middle location. We don't have a way to destroy it. We don't have a great way to win one of the other lanes either. So even if we do something like move Nightcrawler out, play this here, that gives us an additional 2, but that's not going to be enough to win. I think we play it this way just in case this is not the real Mysterio. Maybe it wasn't the real Mysterio. We were going to play it this way just in case it wasn't. Red Skull's ongoing ability would be canceled out by the Isle of Silence, and we'd be able to most likely swing this one, and we were just hoping that this was not a true Mysterio token here, or a true Mysterio. So we'll take the 1 cube, but in true us fashion, let's do one more. I don't want to retreat as the last one. I know we need to end. We need to jump back over into work mode. But I just want to snap, guys. I just want to play snap and chat with you guys. Mimikyu was popular before the release too. That was is that the fake Pikachu one, the ghost type? I think it's ghost. Like the decoy Pokemon. Yeah, the same thing happens with Wong and Colossus as the lizard, and so that is true. And then Hockey, I may have missed what you said. All I see is, oh, what do you do for work, if you don't mind me asking? So I'm in data analytics. I work in I work in an HR department. I'm kind of like the middle ground between like IT and rolling out systems, and then taking that data, taking those systems, turning that data into consumable metrics for our leaders. So I'll take like the raw data and I'll turn it into tableaus or reports or graphs, so they can easily identify areas of opportunity or things that they may need to push more focus on or push focus away from. And yeah, I don't mind you asking at all. Work mode is for 1-turn retreaters. I just want to keep snapping. I can't end on a 1-cube retreat. We need a good solid last game match to make it feel worthwhile. So I think we may play Electra and 0 here, and we may actually cap out this location early. If we can then swing back to building, we can push a little bit more power there. Where Island gives us some kind of flexibility in that regard as well. Doesn't feel great, but I think that's what we're going to go with. Such good career properties for a snapper. Is that like overall or just for me, Samuel? I have noticed that a lot of snappers have some pretty decent career paths, and I know that we have a big diverse community, but a lot of like really like data heavy, at least the ones that I've ran into, a lot of data heavy jobs and things like that. But I think we play okay. Ryu doesn't want us to end. We get another 1 cube retreat. I promise, guys. One more. That's all we need. We need one more satisfying end. I'm looking at my calendar. I have a little bit of prep to do for my 12 o'clock meeting, and so as long as I can squeeze that in, before 12, then we should be fine. Yeah, so we're crunching the numbers. Yeah, that's a lot of what I do, is looking at the data, looking at the metrics, and then going from there. And so we're going against Ryu again. Oh yes, the fourth one more is my favorite one more. Stream doesn't end until an 8 cube victory. That one's a tough one. This one is a Ryu game again, so maybe they'll stick this one out. But yeah, Max, card gaming in general usually attracts folks who have an analytical mindset. That usually means technical career paths. I agree, because like I find that like I'm really analyzing a lot of like the play line, the play possibilities, and so it's very fitting that that's the kind of path that I was drawn into. We got a snap. All right, we got a snap. We don't have a great play line, but we need either a big loss or a big win before we go ahead and end the stream. So if we don't snap, we can't make that happen. Oh man, you've been forced to work all stream. We're forced to work all stream. I see we're positive 16. Yeah, we've been up and down. At most, we were positive 20, and then we were down to positive 12. But overall, we are having a really, really positive stream so far. Hey, Bayou, you're in data analytics as well. Tableau nerds rise up. It's huge, and so I'm glad that other people are kind of in that same kind of field path. It makes me feel good. So their Yondu is going to get destroyed. I don't know that we play really anything here, which feels bad, but I think we're going to pass on this turn as well. You're in communications, but have always loved card games. Yeah, and I don't think it's a like 100% like only analytical mindsets can enjoy card games. But I think the potential to try and like outthink your opponent and like really think analytically about what you put in your deck and what the opponent could have, I think it does attract that mindset at least somewhat. And I wouldn't say that's the only one there, but why not Bishop on turn 3? We should have at least maybe bishoped in the cloning vats, and then we could drop it again. You're right, Jonathan. And then Max, where are you located? So I am in I'm in Texas. So I'm near Houston, actually, Houston, Texas. So they're gonna do a Wong, but I'm not sure what they plan on doing with their Wong here. So I kind of want to do a Doc Ock play. If we pull into a Doc Ock and maybe they do a Mystique here to really try and high roll the Wong, maybe we can pull into a non-Honorville. Oh, they have initiative. I think Doc Ock's the play. I think it's time to disrupt. Thiago, hey, how's it going? I'm glad you were able to jump in and join us. I think this is Doc Ock's time to shine. It's either a retreat after this or they retreat. But I think either way, it kind of puts us into the Wolfsbane's pretty big. It's going to trigger twice here. And then, Dad, did someone else say that they were near Houston? You'd say Clone Skull? What a huge Doc Ock. Oh my gosh. if we're gonna end the stream, that is the way we want to do it. Oh, that is how it is done. Oh my gosh, they had so many cards in hand. We could have pulled any number of things, and that was created by Agent 13. That didn't even start in their deck. Oh my gosh, I'm sure they are fuming. But it's so big. Oh man, the 1 out of 7, and the fact that they pulled into a Carnage from the Agent 13 is astronomical odds as well. But that one does feel like a satisfying way to go out. But Dad, if you're in the Discord, we'll talk more about it. I see that you were in Cyprus last weekend, which is huge. That's really close to me. But I am going to go ahead and end the stream off of that. We're going to end on an extremely high note. Thank you guys for being here, for hanging out for the lunch live stream, for just continuing to enjoy the content. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. I hope that you guys have a great rest of your day, and we will see you either in tomorrow's video or tomorrow's stream. This has been TLSG. Later, guys.